Hey guys, welcome back to Microsoft Flight Simulator. We're doing another ferry flight. This time we're heading from Hamburg over to Edinburgh, Scotland. It is, believe it or not, it's about noon today. Very overcast, live weather as always. Overcast on the ground, should be okay when we get above. We're going to be flying southwestwards over Germany, then the Netherlands. Then we'll head northeast over the Channel. Or actually, it's probably the North Sea at that point. Cross over into England and head up to Edinburgh itself. So it should be a good flight. We're going to be flying at 30,000 feet. And flight time is about an hour and 20 minutes. So let's get inside the airplane. We'll get her up and running. Get the batteries on and get the external power going. And it is pretty dark, so we're going to have to get some lights up here. So for those of you who haven't seen it, I am running the A320nx version 0.3.0. So lots of, what's this one here? Interesting little things here that we can play with that you don't get on the stock one. Still a little bit dark, so let's a little bit of floodlight and panel action going on. Alright, so let's get the IRSs aligning. And while the co-pilot is out doing his walk around, we'll start getting the flight information for today loaded in. Alright, so this is as good as it gets. We'll head over to the initialization page. Ugh. That was a little bit of a mouthful. So we're at Hamburg. I don't think it's the main airport. It's another one. Finkel something. But anyway, it's EDHI. And we're heading to EGPH. No issues. No issues. So company route, no. Our alternate today, let me pull up I don't know why that closed on me. Let's see. Yeah, I got that one. Our alternate today will be, let's see if it shows it, EGPF. EGPF. Flight number is 9001. Cost index for today's flight is 25, and we will be flying at 300. Just wanna get a better view. There we go. Block fuel 8.5. That's fine. All this is fine. And that's all set. So, over to the flight plan. We will be flying. Just have to pull it up here. To WSN. So if we're going from here, we're going WSN is the next waypoint, and it will be that one. To spy. S Where's PY? Not sure why they're showing up over and over like that, but SPY, and then after SPY we go to MIMVA, to NALAX, and then from there it's a ODNEK, ODNEK, and then from ODNEK we go to AGPED, and that will be the start of our entry into Edinburgh. So we'll insert that. So our departure is going to be on runway 23. The winds are favoring 23, and we're going to be doing the WS3W departure, no transition. We'll insert that, and our arrival as it stands right now will be runway, the ILS for runway 24, and the approach will be via, well, no via. It's going to be vectored. So there we go. 4 minutes to go. So I think what we're going to do is we're going to throw that on, and we will kick up the APU, because that's going to take a couple minutes to get going. So our flight plan is set. Let's go to performance pages. It's going to be a flaps 1 takeoff. Now, do you have for me the trim setting? No, you don't calculate trim settings for me. So we'll leave it as is. That's fine. More than happy with that. So we'll redo our V1 speeds. So it's 113, 118, and 123. Transition altitude is fine. We can come up here. We will be climbing to 30,000 feet. We'll just do a regular climb out, and we are going to go in that mode. Uh, 230 on the heading as we leave here. I'll check that in a second. And our speed, we'll set to 210 until we're established. Now, going back to the charts, if we look at the airport chart here, runway 23's heading is 229. So we will use that. departure. Just getting my charts ready here. And that one, oop. What happened there? I don't want that big. That's fine. There's the ILS. Pin that one. Just waiting for the IRSs to finish up. And then at the airport, we'll need the airport info and the stats. All right. So I think we are good to go. All my charts are set. Just want to look at where we're headed. Yeah, oh, that's fine. All right. So we're now up on here, so we can come over here to plan mode. Zoom out. And we can take a look at how we're doing. There we go. Seems to be an interesting route. Not sure why it's got us going due north. This is why we do this. So after WSN, it should be SPY. Now, well, I got the wrong SPY in there. So if I clear SPY, yeah, I think that's the wrong SPY. So can I take you out? Yeah, that looks better. Must have been the wrong SPY. All right. So we're good to go. Everything's looking good. I am happy. So let's get the beacon on. Get the APU up and running. We'll let them do the pushback. Since we have no equipment around us, that'll be fine. So this is our third delivery flight. We have one more to do. We will be back and we will be flying that delivery flight from Hamburg to London Heathrow, actually. So that should be an interesting trip. think that's probably pretty good. Right about there, we can just make the turn out. There we are. And I just lost all of my I got hit by the bug. Alright, we got everything back. It took a second. I just turned the batteries on and off and it seemed to cycle around. Everything is still everything's still there. So we go here. Should look good, yeah. Okay. We'll be on vector so last bit. So let's get everything ready to go. Adheres are all on. I should be reading aligned. That's fine. Taxiway light can come on. That's all on. APU's running. So that's all good. So let's get the engines up and running. And we'll make sure that we don't forget, although we did forget, we don't forget to get those up and going. So there's one little bug that I've heard about is the PDFs all going black, and it did it when it's the first time I've had that happen to me. A little annoying, but we can work around it. It's actually the other engine. Just stop and running. They do take a minute to fire up. Just making sure that parking brake is on. Okay, that's good. Let's get the other engine up and running. These my values here are still set up. So while we're waiting on that one, flight controls are working. Back, forward, and the rudders. That's good. So we're squawking 7,000. Turn that on. Turn predictive wind shear on. Go to our first level of flaps, set the spoiler. And that's, yeah, I'd say that's stable. So the bleeds can come off. APU can come off. And we can taxi. Just gonna hit runway's not too far. It's just down here. So if you are running the A320nX mod and you change views and come back to black screens, just a quick on-off on the batteries seems to reset it, and you don't lose your information. So my flight plan is still in there. My FCU's still set up. I think that's the FCU, flight control unit. So, not bad that way. I do have live traffic on, but it's pretty quiet out here. Snowing around, so we'll go strobes on. All the lights can come on. So it is a kind of dreary day out here. And we're going to backtrack down the runway. Of course, we would be talking to Tower right now and they would clear us to backtrack. Not that there's anybody in the back on this flight. And we'll do our config.
Cabin crew seats for takeoff, please.
And we're good. So again, this is just a ferry flight, so it's just me and the co-pilot on this one. Very lightly loaded aircraft. Sure it'll lighten up when we get above the clouds since it is just midday, but I'm surprised it's not raining. Swinger her around. And line her up. To something like that. Alright, everything's set, flaps are set, we'll start the clock. And away we go. Let's put on the flight director. 80 knots already, 100 knots, V1, and rotate. Let's go gear up. Flaps can come up. All right, calm down, airplane. All right, so we're gonna go into manage mode, so it will manage our flight. Vertical speed mode is set, and we're climbing out. So we should be going up at 2,500 feet per minute now, maintaining about a 210 airspeed. So we're going to increase to 240. She's bouncing all over the place there. Now, one of the things they've done with the weather radar is it picks up all the clouds. Doesn't matter if it's raining or if it's just cloud, it picks it all up, so it can get pretty cluttered. So I leave it off, but looks like we're coming through the clouds now. Climb out. Let's see if we get an outside view of that. I don't know. I like this side of the airplane for some reason. Skating through the tops of them. We should be popping out in a minute. There we go. Pretty nice. Pretty nice indeed. Coming up for 10,000. We'll drop her to a 2,000 foot climb and pick up the speed a bit. Alright, there's 10,000. We will set to go to standard. So you can go off. You guys can come off. Leave the strobes on auto. It's fine. We'll increase the speed to 280. Bring our climb rate down to 2,000 feet per minute. And it looks like we got nothing but blue sky above the clouds, at least over here in Germany. So I'll leave you to enjoy the flight, and we will meet up with you as we head up towards Scotland. currently about 120 miles out now. We've crossed the North Sea, and we're currently heading up the English countryside on the east coast of England up towards Durham. As you can see, it's been cloudy the entire way over. Nothing really to see, but we can start getting ready for our arrival. The sun glaring on here, but if we go over to our performance page, we have some information. So the current weather, the barometer is 1014. Current temperature is 8 degrees Celsius. The winds at Edinburgh Airport are 7 from the west, so 270 at 7. Transition altitude is 6,000 feet. And the decision height on this approach, it's on this screen, is 300 feet. We'll be in landing configuration 3, and our landing speed will be 136, our approach speed of 141. So that is now all set. We're not ready to descend yet. But as you can see, it's a solid, massive cloud. So the general rule in this aircraft for descent is let's get this set up so I can see, is going to be 2,000 foot per minute descent at 250 knots. We'll take about 80 miles to go 30,000 feet. So when we get down to around 80, we'll start our descent. We are going to vector slightly. We're going to go out over the water, come in towards the city from the east. So that's okay. We're almost down to the 80 mark. So we're going to come down. Our altitude for the capture is going to be 3,000 feet. So we can bring that down to 3,000. There we go. So we're just about over Durham and Sunderland, just approaching the Scottish border. Well, we're still a little bit away from it, but we'll be there very quickly. So let's start heading down. We're going to have to watch the speed. We don't want it to overspeed on us. I'm going to crank this down to 250. Because if we overspeed, we're going to get there far in advance of when we want to. We got a bit of a push out of the southwest, which is pushing us to the right. As you can see, we're crabbing slightly on the display here, which is all good. And we're going to fly basically straight up and then make a turn to about 170 degrees. or 270 degrees. It's actually 241 is our capture, so we'll go to about 270 and then we'll capture 241 being our course for the runway. So I hope you've had a good flight. Not much to see, I know. But we should be on the ground in about 10-15 minutes. It's a simple approach. Hopefully the clouds are a little bit higher off the base and we get to see some of the Scottish countryside as we come in. Okay, engine's easy. See, that's, I don't know why decides she wants to do that. She should just be coasting all the way down. When we pass through 10,000, we'll get the airplane configured for landing, turn the landing system on, and that will get us all set and ready to go. So as I was saying, one more flight to do to bring the last aircraft over, and that one will be going into London Heathrow. And then the airline starts scheduled use of the aircraft on the 1st of October. So looking forward to that. Not sure where we're going to be going. Probably somewhere in Europe. We'll have to see. About 60 miles out now. Well, it was a good smooth flight. We'll see if it's raining underneath. We're an hour and 6 minutes since takeoff. And like I said, we're about 10 minutes, 12 minutes to go. So 1:15, 1:20 for the flight time. Not bad. Not bad at all. So one thing I've decided I'm going to do is start live streaming. Probably going to do it 2 or 3 times a week, maybe more. Well, we'll have to see. Right now, unless something comes up and I can't do it, I'm looking at Mondays, Wednesdays, and maybe Saturdays, Fridays or Saturdays. I'm not sure yet. Maybe Saturdays. Saturday evening, I'm in the Toronto area, so that would be Eastern time, standard or daylight, depends on what time of the year it is. So we could be doing that. It'd be a bit longer flights. Now I do fly the airline aircraft that I'm allowed to within the virtual airline. So that sometimes means I'm not flying the a wide variety, at least not yet, until Flight Sim 2020 has more aircraft. But we'll do what we can, and I'm going to be starting a little bit of a 6-leg hop later this week. It'll all be live streamed, and it will be taking an Airbus from here, from England to Scotland, up through Iceland, Greenland, Canada, and down into the States. So that could be an interesting one. I'm going to go into heading mode. Just give myself a little bit of space here for when we make that approach. Kind of doing some vectoring here. So we're doing good. 17,000. So when we land, we're going to be exiting to the left, and then we'll be going to our gate at that point. The gates that we use here in Edinburgh will be 27 to 36. So we'll locate those. Actually, I do have them located, so it should be pretty good. And here's the clouds. It might get a little bit bumpy in the back. Give myself another 5 degrees. Airport elevation is 136 feet. So she's up a little bit of a rise from the water. We're looking pretty good though. Speed's creeping up, and I don't know why she's creeping up. We're coming up for 10,000 feet. And we're in the thick of it now. A little bit of turbulence. Very, very overcast with thick clouds here in Europe today. There's 10,000 feet. Landing lights will come on. Seatbelt signs are on. Not seeing any rain yet. Oh, if I turn the weather radar on, it's a disaster. You can't tell anything with that. Alright, 8,000 feet. At 5,000 feet, we're going to slow to 210 knots. Start getting everything ready for landing. to standard pressure, and the pressure reading was 1014. Which I'm discovering is not as accurate as the inches of mercury that was used in North America. Looking good. Airport's about 25 miles away. Decrease our rate of descent a little bit. Landing system on. 108.90 is what we should be tracking in on. 108.90 ITH is what is shown on the charts. So there's 5,000. We'll bring the speed back to 210. Slower descent a little bit more. So we're just coming up on the town of Haddington. Be passing off to the right of it in a second. Let's go 3,000. We'll go to 4,000 here for a second. Just until I get over this area here. I don't want to get too low. I know there are mountains and hills in this area, or some higher ground. We'll just hold it at 4,000 for a minute. As I mentioned, it is 3,000 we're going to be wanting for the intercept. Heading 280. We're not, I don't know, for some reason it puts in these huge wraparound type of intercepts. Definitely not accurate. You down to 3,000 feet. And the speed can come back to 190. There's 210 for a section of flaps going out. Let's go through. Everything's on. We're all good. Landing lights are on. That's all good. Flaps are coming out. Speed brake is armed. Making our way down. We're just about to go over the water. Picked up the glide slope. Yeah, we'll go with that one today. Back to 170. Second notch of flaps. We are picking up the localizer, or the localizer signal and the glide slope signal. Well, no movement on any of them yet. As soon as we see movement, I'll activate the localizer mode, and then once we return and we get glide slope movement, I'll put on the approach mode. And then once they're captured, we can go full flaps, gear down. Speed brake is already set. Should see the localizer in a second. There's the glide slope. Localizer. There we go. So localizer's captured, or seeking anyway. And go for glide slope. And it is still, well, I think we're just under the clouds. It is a miserable day here. Wow. Oh, there we are, all lined up. And glide slope is captured. So speed back to 141. Gear going down.
2,500.
There we go. And gear is fully extended. Let the cabin crew know.
Camera crew, please take your seat for landing.
But like I said, we're by ourselves. I think I can just make out the airport in front of us. I'm not entirely sure. I think it's right there. But yeah, look at that fog, or that cloud. Ooh, a little bit of stuttering there. So the winds are almost dead on our nose at 18 knots. Should decrease a little bit by the time we get down. We may move a little bit more westward. A little bit of hesitations there. I think the clouds are killing me, but it's rare we get weather like this. It's not too bad. I can live with it. But we do have the airport in sight. We're on the approach path. Flaps are full, spoilers are on, cabin crew is ready, signs are on, gear is down. 1 hour, 25 minutes. Let's see if I can do a better landing this time than I did on my last one. Winds dropped to 7 knots. Last time I flew into this airport was about 40 years ago. 43 years ago, actually. Landing phase. Landing. Oop. Well, that was rough. Reverse thrusters going there. And we will exit the runway. I'll figure this landing out at some point where I'm not slamming it down on the runway. Alright, so let's take a pause here for a second. Landing lights come off, strobe lights will come off, taxi lights will come on. Get the APU ready to go. They're done. Flaps will come up. Taxi, just bringing up the airport map. Taxi over to where it stands. Sure, everybody will be happy to see this airplane. Something new at the airport here. Let's turn you off. Weather's off. You can go off. So we're actually parking on the other side of these buildings here, the terminal. I think these are not gates we're going to, but actually stands. So we'll have to be walking in. Let's go to the APU page. Flaps open, so we'll start the APU. How's our wheels doing? Yeah, temperatures are good. Some smaller aircraft here. We run the Fly UK out of here. We also run Fly 2, which is our holiday and leisure airline. And we have a small turboprop airline that flies through Scotland in the north called is it Highland Express, I think? Can't remember. But they fly out of here as well. We're going down this way. Turn here. Like an old runway. On my charts, this is not active. Interesting. Very interesting indeed. A lot of general aviation aircraft parked in here. We're going over there. One of our Fly Topa airplanes. Actually, I'm gonna hit an airplane in here, so I'm just gonna park it here. And we'll call it good. So APU bleeds can come on. Engines will come off. And we can shut down. I'll leave that one on the airplane. There we go. Well, guys, thank you very much for flying with us once again. It's been a pleasure. We'll see you next time. Bye for now.